Hey, how's it going? This is Roro Lofish from the band Alé.
And this is Alejandro from the band Ale, and you're listening to Channa 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 podcast straight from the Philippines.
Woo! Yeah! Channa!
Hi everyone, welcome to another episode of my podcast. We have very special guest today joining all the way from Los Angeles, California. We have the boys of Ale. We got Ale and Roro. Hi guys.
How
Hi,
are
how you
you?
doing, Channa?
How's it going?
I'm
How's
good.
it
How
going?
about you guys?
Gorgeous, beautiful.
So
Things are
how's
good. Things are good. We just wrapped.
go
Go
ahead.
on. Sorry
I
about
was
that.
just asking how's the
No, I was
situation
just,
over
yeah,
there?
yeah, yeah. Like I was saying, it's it's getting a little bit better. Apparently, things are still kind of they're still kind of bad. But from what I heard, the cases and the number in cases and all that with like the virus and everything's going down a bit. But then again, I'm not quite positive. I'm just going by what I read on in the news and all that stuff. So that's what I've been reading. So yeah.
Right. So how did these lockdowns and everything affected your music, creating music? How did it affected you?
You you know well personally we haven't played a show in literally like almost a year now. I think what is it, Carnal? Is it like a year now or
Yeah, it's been pretty much a year, but I think it hasn't really actually, if anything, it's been great actually. As you know, Ale, the band Ale is bringing up new music, new stuff. Actually, thanks to the pandemic, this stuff is happening. Otherwise, we probably would have kept have our daily jobs, wouldn't interfere in between making music and all that stuff. Actually, this was pretty good actually for the band as far as making music, production, and all that stuff, and getting ready for some live music later in the future. Yeah.
Right.
yeah,
So
pretty much what happened was I was like I pretty much said to myself, if we can't perform live and it's been almost like it's been a few months now, uh might as well just go into the studio. I mean, I have my own studio, and I basically have everything I need in here to work and create. So I was like, I got plenty of time right now, and I'm just gonna take advantage of the time. And now we got 14 songs, brand new songs for Omnipresent Part One. That's our new album.
mm,
It's called Omnipresent Part One, and we're about to drop that in March. Actually, March 4th. I decided I'm just gonna drop it on my birthday. I just decided today, and yeah, there were 14 new songs. They're done, and I didn't want to just sit around and just watch TV or like just hang around all damn day, and do nothing during this pandemic. I might as well just record a full length album. Why not, right?
right. So being a duo, so can you tell me what you do in the band duo, and what sort of how the responsibilities go in the band?
Yeah. So basically, I'm a recording engineer. Aside from everything else, a performer, a producer, singer, songwriter, and all that. So I'm a recording engineer. I've been doing that since 2008. And so live, what happens is, we've gone through different, like I've had this project since 2013, and I've had different various band members, different drummers, different bassists, different people in the band. And I was thinking to myself, we either they leave for their own personal projects, or or they want to start their own thing, or sometimes it's just like they're not at the level of professionalism that I need them to be at. So it all basically came down to, I think maybe 2 years ago is when I got Roro in the band, and ever since then, it's been a lot better. Everything,
Awesome.
everything, and let me just tell you, everything got a lot better. I'm not just saying that. Like Well, honestly, Roro takes a ton of my a ton of like weight off my back, especially for live performances. You know, and aside from that, I was like, you know, about the dual question, being a dual, I was like, you know, I don't understand why I keep looking for like various band members when I can just save myself a lot of time and I can save myself a lot of money and headaches, and just program all these samples and electronic elements live and various instruments live, and then you know just have it be me and Roro and live and save myself the trouble and the headache, you know, and all that stuff, and just you know push forward even faster, as opposed to you know having people flake or having people not be on a professional level or just having people you know not be at that level I need them to be at. And to be honest with you, Roro really, like I said, he's taking care of a lot of that weight off my back, you know. And aside from that, he's a phenomenal drummer and he's a super nice guy, positive, really positive, a lot more positive than I am, to be honest with you. So I need that positivity around me as well. You know, like what I mean is like leading a band. What I mean by that is that
Hey, things are coming. You sound too serious. You know, I gotta put it
you know,
on,
you,
man.
you
No,
know, you
but
know,
yeah,
it's like leading a project can be very stressful and it can be very, it's a lot of work. You know, like leading the way for a project can be very stressful. It's a lot of work. So I'm glad I have him in the band. It just you know brings a lot of good energy. It helps me loosen up as well. You know, whenever like we're at a performance, there's all kinds of things we got to take care of, and it just helps me loosen up and just kind of forget about the moment of all these things that I got, all these responsibilities I got. You know, that helps a lot.
So,
So
Roro, how's the experience?
oh man, you know what, man? In my many years that I've been in the music industry since 1998, this is one of the most professional guy I ever worked with. I'm glad to, you know, God put me on the road with him because I really connect with him. He has a great spirit. A lot of people that misjudge this guy, I don't know. I mean, I started to understand him a lot, and I started to connect a lot with him live and personally. You know, great man. I call him Carnalazo because I really, 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 I really love this guy. Honestly, I love that guy very much. And if I'm not in the band, I still wish him the best, you know, in his career. But it's I think it's a very different experience. Making music with him and performing, it's even better because this guy live is just another. It's an animal. It's an animal on stage. I'm telling you, he throws himself on the floor. He has this. Everybody knows him as a very, very energetic person, and a lot of people compare him with Jack Black.
Right.
Kind of like Jack Black, but more serious, and a little bit more, you know, cleaned up and focus. I don't know what. Anyways, but a lot of people compare him with Jack Black live. You know what I mean? That has that very powerful voice, and he gives it all with his heart. And I learned a lot from him, and I want to keep learning from this guy, and I want to keep moving with him because this guy is a serious person to work with, and I like to work with serious people, but at the same time with a good heart, you know.
Right.
you know, that means a lot to me, especially because it's coming from someone I really admire as a musician. I'm telling you, I've seen I've performed with a lot of various drummers, you know, and Roro's one of the best in LA. Honestly, I'm not just saying that either. Trust me, I've seen a lot of drummers, and what you know, I guess a lot of in a way, what he means is, you know, the performances are very energetic. You know, they're very there's just, you know, the way I see it is, you know, you're going into this club, you know, there's music blaring, there's people drinking, there's people smoking, you know what I mean? And you know, I'm just there to do my thing, you know what I mean? Like I've been sober 9 years. I'm like, I'm just here to do my thing. You know what I mean? So it's a lot like I'm going into this vortex. I see it kind of like a vortex. You know what I mean? And it's either you're gonna suck the people into the vortex with you, or you're not. You know, and not every show, like for example, not every show is going to bring you the results that you want, but you know, you're gonna, you know, at least at the end of the night, I know that we did everything we possibly could to make, you know, to bring those people into the vortex with us, you know.
Right.
So that's how I see that. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
go on. I'm sorry, go on.
Yeah. So before we talk about the music of Ale, can you guys tell me a little bit about your childhood and yeah, like your earliest memories of music?
Yeah, go ahead, Roro. Go ahead.
Okay, sounds good. Yeah, definitely. Well, I have many memories of music, especially comes from my father. You know what? It's different. From my mom's side, we have more traditional Mexican music, you know, like the ballads and all that stuff. My dad was mainly raised in the US. He came here when he was like probably like 16 years old, you know, to
Mm.
find a better life and all that stuff. So he got into rock and roll. So he got into his era was mainly the 70s rock, you know. So he actually brought the music into the family. And me and my brothers got really connected to the music. And I loved it very much. And my dad will say, "Hey, do you like an instrument?" And I say, "Yes, I like the drums." And then he actually said, "Well, okay, well, you know what? If you're gonna do this series, then I'm gonna buy you a drum first. I'm gonna buy you the drumsticks, and I want to see if you're really into it." So he got me into drum lessons, and I had a practice pad and sticks for about 2 years, just rudiments, reading notes and everything. And I practiced for hours and hours and hours and hours and hours, and every day, hours and hours. And my dad was really very he was really surprised of how advanced I was. Even the teacher would tell him, "You know what? He got something special. You need to get him the drums already. He's ready for the drum. He's a monster." That's what he told me. He's a monster, and I want him to make him a big monster. And yeah, my dad finally got me my drums. So the first thing I played was just noise everywhere. That's all I know. No beats, no timing. Everything was noise and hitting everywhere. And at the end, that was very handy for. It came really handy, to be honest. But anyways, yeah, my dad's side is mainly classic rock. 70s, especially Deep Purple. Deep Purple is one of my favorite bands.
Right.
And from my mom's side was mainly romantic music. From Mexico. So I got a influence from psychedelic 70s rock and romantic Mexican traditional music. That's me right there. Mm,
Right. So
yeah.
with regards to drums, who do you like look up to, the other drummers?
You know what? I looked up to a lot of drummers, but the main influence for me was Ian Pace from Deep Purple.
Right.
That was my main influence when I started, and then from there I moved Dave Grohl, and then I moved to John Bonham from Zeppelin. And
Wow.
then I started moving more into Neil Peart and more progressive drummers and more like El Negro Hernandez, which is a very crazy drummer from Cuba, you know, carrying on the left foot, carrying the clave and making the other foot doing some other weird stuff. And I start getting more into it now that we have more access to music and YouTube and all that stuff. You see a lot of crazy drummers out there from all over the world, and you're like, "Oh wow." You shrink a little bit, you're like, "Oh no, I don't think I'm that good." But you know what? The main thing of musician, I would tell you, is not who's better and who's not. You know what I mean? Is have playing with your heart and being unique.
Right.
That's it. That's and everybody should have their own signature, not try to be somebody else.
Right.
And I think that's what Ale has. Ale has a very unique voice and a very unique style of music. Um, Me myself as a drummer, I mean, I don't like to compare myself nobody, you know, but I my style just came up naturally, you know what I mean? It's just my feeling. It comes from my heart. So that's all I could say.
Right.
Mhm.
How about you, Ale?
You know, I basically started with a small drum set when I was like, I think 3 years old, around there, somewhere around 3 years old. I started with a drum set, and that was a gift from my mother and my aunts at 3 or 4 years old, something like that. And me and my neighbor destroyed that drum set within like 3 or 4 days, right? We just were on that drum set every single day, every single hour for like 3 or 4 days. So we destroyed it. But I really love that drum set. Like I was really into the drums at that age, right? So and then like the time passed, and I still listen to music. I got a lot into hip hop when I was like around 4 or 5, around there, because of my surroundings and because of the area that I grew up in, right? And somewhere around 7 years old, my uncle Lewis, uh, he gifted me a Casio keyboard, and this was in the 80s, you know. So in the 80s, Casio was pretty big time, right?
Right.
And he gifted me this Casio keyboard. I thought it was amazing. I was like, this thing's great. I love all the presets, all the sounds that it produces, and things like that. And then, I so I spent like about a year with that Casio, and I remember thinking to myself, I really, really like this instrument. I love what it produces, the sounds it produces. It's very unique, but it's just not fulfilling me like the drum set when I was somewhere around 3, right? I was like, there's just something about that drum set that's not fulfilling me with this keyboard. But I still love the keyboard though. So, and then the time passed a little bit more, and then that's when I started getting more into rock and roll, which was a little bit later, somewhere around like 10, you know. And by this time, you know, I around 12 years old, my mother was like, "Okay, your birthday's coming up. What do you want?" And she specifically said to me, if it's gonna be an instrument, um, I really, really don't want it to end up either broken like the drum set or in the closet like the keyboard, right? And she said to me, "You're going to really have to pull through with this, whatever instrument it is, if it's an instrument." And immediately I remember I was I'm talking about like extremely heavily into the grunge scene from Seattle. I was watching a lot of MTV, um, and I remember just being really into that scene, all those bands, specifically Nirvana, but I was also into like Alice in Chains and Mudhoney, and just a lot of bands from that whole scene, Soundgarden. Um, so I told her I wanted an electric guitar. I just knew, like, immediately I knew that's what I wanted. So she said, okay. So I got an electric guitar for my 12th birthday, and from there I just became obsessed with it, nonstop. I would come home from school, I would lock myself in my room for 3 hours straight after school. I mean, sometimes I wouldn't even do my homework, because I was just so into it. It was like 3 to 4 hours in my room locked, every single day after school until I fell asleep, literally fell asleep with my guitar because I was just practicing all night, and then from there, I got classes at the music and art school right here in East Los Angeles, right on the border of Boyle Heights in East Los Angeles. It's called the Music and Art School, I believe. Yeah, and that was a long time ago. And I went there for 3 years, so I learned a lot. And then after those 3 years that I was there, I just continued. I just continued on my own. I just kept going. So a lot of my early influences was definitely the grunge movement. I like some classic rock as well. I was into AC/DC. And then, when I was really young, I still had this impression that I was left with when I went to help. I basically went to Mexico for a few years, like I think maybe like a year or two, and I would hang out with my uncle, who was in a Spanish rock band at the time. and he was building a house. He was helping my other uncle build a house, and he would play a lot of Spanish rock, right? He would play a lot of Spanish rock, and I remember hearing, different Spanish rock bands at the time, growing up, and he would play like Maná, or he would play Soda Stereo, so um, so I had that mixture between the grunge scene that I really loved, and then I still had that impression that I was left with when I would go hang out with my uncle in Mexico of Spanish rock. And then my very first concert ever that I ever attended, the very first very first concert I ever went to was 1995 Halloween night. It was David Bowie with Nine Inch Nails.
Wow.
Yeah, so David Bowie was literally the very first. Nine Inch Nails and David Bowie was literally they were the first artists, bands that I ever laid eyes on like live, right? So that just opened up this like total electronic spectrum that I was totally introduced to, like fresh. It was just like something really beyond my understanding. So I remember just thinking that night, like, this is unbelievable. Like, I'm completely blown away. I was 12 years old when I went to go see when I went to that show. I was 12 years old. And I went, and my friend took me. He was heavily into Nine Inch Nails, right? And I was heavily into Nirvana. And he was like, we're gonna go. This is gonna be your first concert ever. You're gonna love it. So we went, and shout out to my friend. His name's Alex as well. He now works for Riot Games, which is like a really big video game company here in the States. And so he really got me into Nine Inch Nails. And then that's when I discovered David Bowie that night. When they were doing like a co-headline tour. So this electronic world just just hit me upside the head, and I was like really deeply. I became deeply into electronic music after that as well.
Right.
Yeah.
So I was actually thinking what to wear for this interview, so I actually wore Madhani.
Oh, nice.
Hey,
That's what's
funny,
up.
hey. And now that you were, Ale was talking about Soundgarden. Did people tell you, Channa, you look like the guitarist of Soundgarden?
You look like
That's you, right?
Yeah.
Come on, Channa. Let it out. That's the
That's
guitarist of
hey,
Soundgarden. Oh, that's him.
yeah, man. That's a spin image of you right there, man. That's you, Channa.
Channa, man.
Yeah, I should post that. Actually, I have my own Instagram, and my beard actually has its own Instagram.
No way.
Yeah.
Wow. No way. That's amazing.
That's good,
amazing.
Channa.
Hey,
Channa, where are you located at?
I'm in Manila, Philippines.
Nice.
Oh, okay, got it. Nice.
Yeah. I love
How do you
that
like it over there?
I've been
Are you-
living, yeah, so I've been living here for 15 years. I'm originally actually from Sri Lanka.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Wow.
That's what's up. Hey, send me a link to your send me a link to the Instagram that your beard Instagram. Send me a link to that, please. I'm gonna follow you. I'm gonna follow your beard.
Yeah,
Let me follow your beard.
I think more people follow the beard actually.
I love it. I love it. Hey, by the way, that's an awesome Mudhoney shirt. By the way, I love that.
Yeah, that's the one
that.
they perform on the needle.
That's what's up. Yeah.
Yeah.
I've seen Mudhoney a few times as well.
Right.
I've seen them live. That's a great shirt. I love that shirt.
Yeah.
Nice.
So good, man.
So Ale, can you tell me a little bit about this the project that eventually become Ale, or how this idea started, and then how do you guys finally met?
Yeah, no problem. So basically, so I started the project in 2013 after after just playing in different bands when I was younger. And finally I said, in 2013, I was like, I'm gonna do my own thing, basically, start my own an album as a solo artist and everything like that. So the first EP was Acoustic Noise. And then I remember thinking to myself, I'm gonna write a full length, and then I'm just gonna set up a band, you know, because this is exactly what I want to do, and this is the direction I want to go in. And then I remember thinking to myself, you know, I'm gonna go ahead and continue doing this. And somewhere around 2014, I released Irregular Heartbeat. So I finally, you know, I started playing shows with different band members and stuff like that. And then I finally met Roro somewhere in the making, when I was making, I think, yeah, it was somewhere around the time where I made Dimensions, or a little bit after I made Dimensions, our second full-length album. And then I remember I had met him, and he was playing with his other band. He was actually playing at a club called oh man, it's this total rock. It's a total rock club in East Los Angeles called oh man, I can't even remember the name of the club. They're closed down now, but what are they called?
Mike's something, no?
No, it
Something.
wasn't Mike's. It was the one right there on next to Pep Boys in East LA, next to Pep Boys.
Oh
I
shoot!
can't remember, but it was
I
it
think
was just
Channa will remember. Channa, I think Channa remembers.
I can't remember the name of the club, to be honest with you, but I met him, and he was playing with his other band, which was, they're a great band. They're called Beam Furor, and he was playing with them. And I remember I was sitting down, and I was just watching the entire show. And my first thought instantly was, when I saw them finish the entire show, I was like, how do I get this guy on drums over here? You know what I mean? Like, how do I approach this guy? You know, so I basically I approached him after the show, and I told him it was a great show. And then I still had I was working with another drummer at the time. I was working with a friend of mine, and he kind of just kept flaking on me. And he was a great drummer too, but he just kept flaking, and he had a lot of responsibilities. And I was like, you know, and so Roro was still in the back of my mind, after, especially after that explosive show that really just left an impression on me. So I was like, you know what, I'm just gonna go for it. And I finally decided to message him on Facebook one day, and ask him, hey, you know, we got this show coming up, or we got a few shows coming up. Are you down to do that? You know, and I was like, you know, I'm not gonna find out until I ask, you know, so I might as well take the risk. You know what I mean? And that's how we ended up meeting. And then we ended up practicing, and I was like, I'm glad I took the risk, because, you know, anyone out there who's thinking of taking that risk, you know, just do it. Seriously, you got nothing to lose, you know. That's how it all went down.
Right.
Yeah.
So what do you remember from on that, Roro?
I don't. I don't remember. As you see, he was asking me this place and this. I'm like, I seriously don't really remember much about
Yeah.
Alé. Even when, you know what is funny, because he approached me to via Facebook, right, through Messenger, and we
Yeah.
were friends. But I mean, I had like 4,000 something friends or something that I only know like probably 10, you know. And he sent me a message, hey, how's it going? And I have a show and blah, blah, blah. My name is Alé, and this is like, and I told him, I think I heard of Alé. But in my mind, I was thinking, Alé, that doesn't sound too good to me. I think I heard of him, you know, from other people, you know. And Ale, I'm like, yeah, sure, man, sure. Send me your poppy music. You know, I thought in my head, you know, like, okay, Ale, it's a soloist, you know, Spanish
he thought the
Roxy,
music. Yeah, he thought the music was more pop or something like that. You know.
more like pop, you know, like,
Yeah.
yeah, send me a music. I'll learn it. I'll learn it. Yeah, yeah, sure. And then when he sent me the music, I was like, whoa, this is gonna take time to learn. You know, it's not gonna be easy. So I was like, oh, this is a challenge. You know, hopefully I learn it. And and try to make the best of it. And I was pretty nervous, and it was a great challenge. And after the first show, I really liked playing with him. It was fun and great energy, and that's what I like doing. I like to play with people with lots of energy. And
Right.
yeah, that's pretty much what I remember from Ale. You know, throwing himself on the floor, going like this.
Yeah, you know what? It's all about that moment, Chana. You know, I'm telling you, you walk into a club, you know, there's a cloud of smoke, there's drinks everywhere. You might as well just enjoy the moment, and you might as well just take it for all it's got. Just juice the moment as much as possible, man. You know,
Right. Yeah.
there's no other way. You know what I mean? There's just no other way. You know, that's just the way I see it. You know, it's like you got that. You never know. That might be your last show. Think about that.
Right,
You
right.
know, you might not wake up the next day. You know what I mean? You might not wake up the next day. So you might as well play that show like it's your last show. That's just the way I see it. You know,
Yeah.
that's the way I think about it. There's no other way, in my opinion. You know, and I personally, I'm a firm believer. You might agree with me on this one, Chana, but I'm a firm believer that your band is as good as your drummer. And I know this from experience. I'm not just saying that. I'm not just saying it, and I'm gonna tell you why. Uh-oh, here we go.
Thank you for the comment.
No, no, and I'm gonna tell you why. Because the way I see it is if if there's a drummer that I'm performing with, he's not on that level. He's not on that level that I need them to be at. I'd rather not perform. Like I'd rather just not play the show. You know, like that's just the way it is. You know, I'm not trying to sound like very strict or anything, but if a musician's just not on that level that I need them to be at for live performances, I'd rather just not play. You know, that's just the way I see it. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, and I think it's a really fun thing. Me personally, I like the fact that he brought up the fact that the music is challenging. Um, I love challenging musicians. I'm not joking, and I don't mean it in a way where I don't mean it in a way like to be an asshole or anything like that. I mean it like I like to keep musicians interested in what they're doing, you know, because if you don't challenge a musician or if you don't challenge them in a way where they're not staying interested in your music, I mean, you're gonna have a bored ass musician just bored out of their mind playing. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Think about that. You know, it's like, so it's not like a challenge, like I'm gonna be a jerk and I'm gonna challenge you. It's more like I'm gonna challenge you to play this to see if you're gonna make it all the way to the end of the song, so that subconsciously you're not bored. Because the last thing I want is for you to be falling asleep playing this stuff. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that's how I see it. You know?
Yeah, because
Yeah.
Don't fall asleep, Channa. Don't fall asleep, okay?
yeah, because when I first uh when my friend mentioned about your band, and then when I started started listening, and then the sound was really
Yeah,
exciting. Now I
yeah,
can
Yeah.
actually link what I heard, because what I heard when I hear, for example, the drop, uh
Yeah. Yeah.
the song The Drop. So I hear the Cult, I hear the New Order, I hear the Depeche Mode and all this.
Yeah.
And now I
Right.
can relate that what you said, that you started with David Bowie and Nine Inch Nails
Right.
and all this. So that
Yeah.
sound is because even though I mean I listen a lot of metal and rock and all that, but I really love this type of music that goes in a different direction, but it's so exciting and it's so fresh.
You know,
gotta be open. Gotta be open. Good.
yeah, I agree. I agree, and what I mean by I agree is that you can never be 100% original, in my opinion, because everything's been done before. But
All right, guys, I'll be back. I'll leave you with this guy in the bed. I'll be back.
oh, he's leaving us. He's leaving us on standby. Wait, what time is
Hold
it?
on, stand by. He'll be the guy right now. Sorry, hold on.
That's the new drummer. That's the new drummer right there.
Right.
So, like I was saying, I think he's probably going to the restroom or something. But like I was saying, because he's had a few drinks. But what I was saying, what I was saying was, you can never be 100% original. So all you can do is just be as original as you can possibly be. Your own interpretation of what's going on, of your creation,
Mm.
because everything's been done before. So I just try to be as original as possible, just try to be as original as possible, and see what comes out, see
Right.
what comes out after that. Yeah. That's my take on it, because everything's been done before in that sense, but it's your interpretation of the art, that becomes 100%, not 100%, but a good amount of it becomes very original. So that's my take on that.
Right. So
Yeah.
I was listening to your songs. You have, I think you have three albums, right? Irregular Heartbeat, Dimensions, and The Blessings.
Yeah, it's acoustic, two EPs, and two albums, two full-length albums, and we're about to drop a third full length soon.
Right. Can you tell me a little bit about the new album?
Yeah. Okay. So Omnipresent Part One. It has 14 songs on it, and it's got there's a mixture of heavy songs mixed with like more of like a soft approach. It's a little bit more cinematic than the previous albums. It's just a little bit more. It goes more in depth. It's got a deeper meaning behind it, and the sound is a little bit more cinematic. Um, it's more electronic, definitely more electronic than our past albums. So more electronic. I used to say it was like rock with electronic elements. Now I think it's a little bit more reverse. Electronic music with rock elements.
Okay, right.
Yeah.
So Ale, I saw that I think it's this is your studio, what your company operating on a dream time. So can you tell me about this?
Yeah.
What is this about?
Yeah, sure. Operating on Dreamtime is my production company, and so I record out of here. I record all my music out of here. Sometimes I'll record clients that need production work, recording work, things like that. So I produce, I help arrange music, I record. I just have everything that I need to do all that in my studio here in the downtown LA Arts District. This is it's right next to where I'm from, which is Boyle Heights, but it's more headed towards downtown LA. So it's a place called the Arts District in downtown Los Angeles.
Right.
Nice. Yeah, there we
It's a
go.
turtle.
So
Hey.
we just replaced the star with a turtle. There you go.
Here we go. Nah, I'm back.
There you go.
Right.
That's what's up. Hey, that's what's up, Carnal. That's
Hey,
what's up, the turtle.
hey, people from Filipinas, I know they're happy people, people very people with beautiful soul,
Yeah.
And
Did you go to
yeah,
the restroom, Carnal? I think you
yeah,
went. You
no,
went to the restroom.
no, but I just want to say with the guys to see how they're doing,
Okay, got it.
Yeah,
Right.
Yeah.
I'm rehearsing with another band, that old
Yeah,
school
yeah.
guy.
He's
Yeah.
he's in the middle of a rehearsal.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, yeah,
So
yeah. No
so
worries, no
guys,
worries.
can we talk about little bit about the performances of course before this COVID thing happened. Can we talk about little bit about your live performances, the shows that you did, and what are your favorite shows?
Yeah, well, right before the pandemic hit, we the second to the last show we played, not the last show, but the second to the last show was absolutely amazing. It was in Santa Clarita. You remember that, right, Carnal?
Oh yeah, sure.
Santa Clarita and that Drifters Cocktails.
Oh yeah.
Remember that was a big party, right?
Yep.
It was a huge party. I'm telling you, there was like a hip hop show happening outside, and then we were the band that was playing inside the club, inside the bar, and there was at least like 200 people, like 150, maybe 200 people there that night, I think. And there was like a lot of art. There was an art walk outside, and we had a great time there, man. And they paid us pretty well that night, and we just had a blast, so we had a great time there. Yeah.
Yep.
After that, a few days later, we had a show in Pasadena, California, and that was a terrible show. That was Yeah, that show was not as great. And what I mean by that is because
You almost
it's
got
just
into a fight.
yeah, it's a long. Let's just say it's a long story. How about that? Let's just
Oh
keep it
man.
at that. It's a long story.
Oh man.
The I got into an argument with the promoter, and it was ugly, and we just didn't have a good time at that place. You know what I mean?
Right.
So, but yeah, but we like to think that we like to remember the last show over in Santa Clarita as the last show.
That was a last
Right.
show. Wow, man. How crazy, man. How crazy, man. Oh,
You know?
goodness.
But that was like almost a year ago. I think that was like almost a year ago. When I
Oh,
It's
think
been a
about
long time. It's been a
yeah.
very long time. It
Yeah.
feels like, I mean, it probably is not that long, but it feels already like a long time. When you're used to
Yeah.
doing something, and normally like every day, like a routine thing, and then they take it away from you, it feels crazy. Yeah. So it feels
Yeah.
like a very long time, but it hasn't.
Right.
Yeah.
How is the response from the crowd to this type of music? Because what I realize is this can unify different genres, people who love different genres, right? The
This is the
music that you
response,
put out.
Shanna. This is the response. Because they're listening. But but this is you know it's so annoying. Get up and do something. And that's when
Yeah.
Alé go to them. He has a wireless guitar, and he
Yeah,
goes up.
wireless. Yeah.
He goes up to the
Wireless system.
street. He goes to the street. He stopped the traffic. He goes outside and people
Yeah,
follow.
man. Hey, Chana. Hey, he's not kidding. He's not kidding, Chana. He's not kidding.
He
Right.
goes on top of the tables. He gets on top of the tables. He goes
As a matter
outside the
of
street. He
fact,
gets out the door with the security.
as a
Start
matter
playing
of
in front of
fact,
him like
as a,
this. They're
you know
like,
what?
shit, what do I do?
He's not kidding, Chana. You know what? As a matter of fact, I'm glad he brought that up because well, basically I have a wireless guitar system, right? And sometimes when the crowd is dead, or when they're like not really, or when they're not really responding, I like to you know what, man? Sometimes you got to get in people's faces, man. Like literally, like sometimes you just got to get in people's faces. No joking.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
and that last show in Pasadena, the one that we were talking about, that last show, I got on top of this table, right? And I literally got on top of this table, like it was a pretty tall, like the table was pretty high up there, right?
Right.
So I tossed my guitar in the middle of the song we have. I'm pretty sure you've probably heard it by now. It's called Ghost Reaction. So I tossed my guitar on top of the table and I climbed the table, and the table was literally like seconds away from breaking, right? And the promoter comes up to me and he's like, "Get off the damn table!" Like he's like yelling at me, right? And I'm just up there doing my thing, right? Like I'm wireless. I'm just not giving like, I'm not giving an F about anything at that point. So I jump off the table and he's furious, right? But like going back to my point, sometimes you got to get in people's faces when they're just like, they're not there, they're like sleepwalking, you just got to get in their faces.
Yeah.
I mean, that's just my opinion on that. You got to wake people up sometimes.
Right.
And you know what? Sometimes it could be also because they're mesmerized. They like the music and they're like, trying to pretty much examine you, try to see where you're going and everything. So I think that's what it is, because when the people are like this and watching you, is because they're trying to examine you.
Yeah, and that's exactly the word, is examine, because in my experience, sometimes I feel like they don't know what to think yet,
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
I think a big part of going back to what I was talking about, which was you got to suck people into that vortex with you. Sometimes you got to go out there and just draw that energy back in, because you know that's what it's about. It's about that energy. You're feeding off the energy of the crowd, and then they're feeding off that energy from you. So it's just like a back and forth exchange.
Right.
And unfortunately, sometimes some people don't take that that in your face type of experience too well, like that promoter at that club I was telling you about, right?
Right.
He didn't take that too nicely, Yeah. But
Yeah.
hey, we have a great time. We always have a great time.
I love it. I love it, man. It's awesome. Awesome.
So,
Yeah, I saw this meme on the internet that that they said that I'm missing the live shows because I'm missing going to the live shows and doing this. Like,
That's exactly what he was talking about right now. That's what Roro was talking about right now, man. I'm telling you, man.
Okay, guys, at the same time, let's do it. 1, 2, 3.
Hey, I'm telling you, man. Hey, Roro's ahead of his time. He predicted that meme. He predicted that whole entire meme.
right.
Oh man, I could imagine like a live show, like a massive live show with a many million, with thousands of people. Everybody like jumping or throwing things or doing a mosh pit. Everybody just like this and a live show. Imagine that. That'd be crazy.
Yeah.
That'd be fucking crazy. I'll be tripping out.
Yes, I've been to some of those weird shows. Like I went to this show in Singapore. It's a hardcore show, and
Okay.
all the
Okay.
local bands played, and then they were like moshing and stage
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
diving. And then once this foreign band, which was the headliner, when they came up, everybody was like this. Nobody was.
I'm telling you, man. It's like this is exactly what I'm talking about. It's like you got to snap people out of it. You got to snap them out of it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So-
yeah.
So what better way to do it than to get in their face?
Get in their face.
So-
Yep.
Right.
Good thing I haven't been punched in the face yet. That's a good thing. So,
No, we don't want that kind of. You destroy.
no.
This guy's a bear. He's a bear. This guy, don't mess with this guy. This guy's a bear. No, right now on Zoom he looks like like calm and like a little guy. But you see it in person, he's huge. He's a huge guy, and you don't want to mess with that guy because he'll slap you.
No. I try to be as polite as possible, man. I mean,
He's a nice guy.
I try to be, but if I do get punched in the face, I am, obviously I got to defend myself. You know what I mean?
No option.
But good thing I haven't because I do get sometimes out there in the crowd and everything, and you never know what's gonna happen. So
Yeah.
thank God nothing serious has happened.
Yeah. Good.
Yeah.
Good. Yeah.
Yeah.
So guys, what's your message to the viewers of the podcast? Also tell them what they can expect from you guys in the near future.
So basically, we got a 14-song new album called Omnipresent, coming out in March 14th. We're dropping it on Bandcamp. We're dropping it everywhere, YouTube, all the digital platforms. Roro performed on a few songs. He recorded on Cyborg. He recorded on this, I think the song's like 7 minutes or something like that. It's called Cyborg. It's a song that I wrote. He performed on Cyborg. He performed on another song called Faith Walker. Aside from that, I programmed some of the drums for the album as well, and some of the drum machines and things like that. But he was a part of it as well. So we got that album coming out. It's coming out in March. Taquin O'Brien, our graphic designer. I have a team together, and Taquin O'Brien is the graphic designer. He designed the album cover. Shout out to Taquin O'Brien. Ben Huff, who is our mixing and mastering engineer. He mixed and mastered the entire album, and he did a phenomenal job as well. So from there, shout out to the team, the Dream Team. And then, like I said, Roro performed on it as well. And we're dropping it in March, early March, mid-March actually. And hopefully, this situation gets better so we can get back on, back on the stage. That's what I'm looking forward to. I'm pretty sure Roro misses playing live too, So we're just waiting to get back on stage as well, aside from this album release,
Roro, any words?
Oh, okay.
He's still stuck
Yeah,
on
of
that meme, man.
course.
He's stuck on that meme you're talking
Yeah,
about.
of course, but I'm very sure. Talking about this, I'm very sure our first show after that pandemic, trust me, people are not gonna be like that anymore. You know, people are gonna
Right.
appreciate more. People
Yeah,
are gonna try to
correct.
hug more. People are gonna approach to you more. And honestly, I don't see this as something negative. You know, I see this as something positive. You know, I see this something that is gonna change. Is changing people. If nothing bad happens to us, you're always gonna be the same. You have to
Right.
learn. You know, and I think this is a lesson for everybody. You know, I see people differently now. You know, I don't hug people anymore. You know, I wish I'd give a hug to someone. Obviously, the only people that I hug is my kids. That's not the only one. My kids and my wife. You know, but I can't even hug Ale. Ale will go like this to me. Like, come on. Okay, Shanna, I'll give you a big remote hug to you, man.
Virtual
Okay.
hug.
Virtual,
Virtual hug.
and for the fans, for his beer fan, I'll give him a big pull like that. Chat, chat. I love you, Channa. I love you very much. Okay, I don't know you, but I always love you. I love humans. I love everybody. I love the world. I love everyone in the world. Okay,
Yeah.
everybody, love, peace, and love for everybody. Okay, and
I think he's right. I think he's correct when he's talking about how the pandemic's going to change the interaction with people and the
yeah,
live performances and things like that. I personally think that once things get back to normal and people everyone gets vaccinated, I personally think that I really don't think people are going to take things for granted as much as they used to, you
Right.
know? Like I
yeah,
think people are going to appreciate things more. They're going to appreciate, I hope they do. I hope that they appreciate human connection more and that they appreciate the bond between people and live music. Once live music comes back, hopefully it comes back sooner than later, I think they're going to appreciate that even more because who doesn't miss a concert, right?
yeah.
Yeah.
I- so that's what's going to happen. I think there's going to be like an overabundance of appreciation for these things.
Yeah.
I think that's what the
Absolutely.
pandemic has taught us.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So Ale, Roro, this was great conversation. I really enjoy talking to you guys.
We
I
enjoyed it
really,
as well.
I
We
really
love you. We love you,
love your music.
Shanna. And one day we're gonna meet. Okay. I can't
Yes.
wait
We
to
Yes.
will
meet you
definitely.
and your beer too, and the beer.
Yes.
Okay. Whatever, Shanna.
We're
We
gonna
love you,
meet.
Shanna.
He's gonna. So Roto's gonna meet your beard while having a beer.
Beer.
Yes. So guys, tell
With with
so tell
the with the turtle and the funny
at the
looking
start.
guy here.
Yeah, that's what's up. That's what's
Yeah.
Yeah,
up.
definitely, Shanna. Definitely.
Yeah. So tell everyone how they can follow your music, follow you guys.
Okay, so go on operatingondreamtime.com. That's the website, operatingondreamtime.com. Or you can go to Bandcamp and listen to our albums and purchase our albums if you want. Just type in OO Dreamtime in the Bandcamp search bar. That's double O Dreamtime in the Bandcamp search bar. You can also find us on Spotify, Instagram, OO Dreamtime Instagram. So everything is under the Operating on Dreamtime umbrella, including the band Ale. But like I said, Bandcamp, everything else, I would suggest though, operatingondreamtime.com is the main website to find everything.
Right.
Yeah.
So Ale, Roro, thanks for joining the podcast. So
Thank
looking
you.
forward to the new music. Keep safe.
Hey,
Uh,
Thank you, Shanna.
thank you, Chana. We appreciate your time.
Yeah,
thank you
very
guys.
much.
Thank
Very
you.
much.
Thank you so much. You're officially the very first person to interview us in the Philippines. We're very honored. Thank you so much.
Thank
Yeah,
you.
Shanna. Thank you. Cheers to the everybody over there.
Cheers. Cheers, Chana. Thank you.
Bye.